We know that the top stars in the NBA are going to do well when it comes to fantasy and in real life. Embiid, Tatum, Luka, Wemby, and Jokic are all most likely going to have great seasons barring any major injury. However, the real value in finding who will help your fantasy team succeed depends on you taking risks on players with question marks. I've been doing a number of drafts on Underdog, and I'm going to discuss some of the players that I feel like are being overlooked. The player that I drafted more than any other player was Keyonte George. I was too low on him before he entered the draft, and now I'm buying all the Keyonte stock that I can buy. I've drafted him in every league so far. He's going to be starting for the Jazz, and this is what Coach Hardy said about him recently. You can just tell the way we communicate with each other feels different than it did last year. Keyonte is a more confident player and person than he was last year. If Summer League was any indication, the Jazz are going to give a lot of freedom to Keyonte. He's going to make plenty of mistakes, the turnovers are still going to be an issue, and there's going to be plenty of games where he shoots a low percentage. That being said, I am a believer in his talent. The Jazz still have Colin Sexton, and they drafted Isaiah Collier, but Keyonte will start and play more minutes this year than he did last year. He averaged 13 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists last year, and I think that could easily go up to 15 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists this year with more efficient shooting. I've been picking him in the 9th round in 10-team leagues. Let's talk about his teammate now, Taylor Hendricks. Taylor had an up and down rookie season, which is why I believe he's slightly being overlooked. Last year he was dealing with injuries, he played in the G League, but he also started 23 games for the Jazz. And when he did start, he averaged 9 points and 6 boards per game. I expect him to start this year too, and I think he can build off those numbers. He's going in round 14 or so, and I think he's worth the late dart throw. Let's talk about another young combo guard, Brandin Podziemski. This is what Steve Kerr said about his role this year. He might start, and if he does start, he'll come out early and then come in for Steph. If he doesn't start, he'll come off the bench and handle a lot of the ball handling duties. Brandin played about 27 minutes for the Warriors last year. Even though Buddy Hield and Gary Payton will be fighting him for minutes, I don't see how Brandin doesn't play at least 30 minutes per game, especially if he'll be playing a lot of minutes at the 1. And even if he doesn't start, I think he'll be finishing games for the Warriors. Last year he averaged about 9 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. I can see those numbers going up to 14 points, 7 boards, and 5 assists per game. He's been going in the 10th or 11th round in underdog drafts in 10-team leagues, and I think that's great value. Tyus Jones averaged 12 points and 7 assists per game on an awful Wizards team last year. I think even if his points go down, his assists should increase. The Suns need him to facilitate their big three, and that should be a symbiotic relationship. The Clippers lost about 23 points per game when Paul George decided to go to Philly. Terrence Mann, Norman Powell, and Derrick Jones Jr. are all going to benefit. None are really being drafted, and I don't expect any of them to really stand out over the other, but I think all of them are worth keeping an eye on. Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez, and Draymond Green are being drafted, but in the last 2 rounds on Underdog. We all know what they are at this point, but they all have important roles to play on their teams. If you need a big at the end of your draft, I would target one of them. Some of the best values can be found on the worst teams. Let's start with the team that might have the worst record this year, the Brooklyn Nets. Cam Thomas has the greenest light in the entire league, and he has a chance to lead the league in scoring this year. I think a conservative estimate would be for him to score about 25 points per game. I believe Dennis Schroeder will start for the Nets, and he's not getting drafted on Underdog, so I believe he's a value. He wasn't drafted in a lot of leagues last year, and that was a mistake. Once getting traded to Brooklyn, he averaged 14 points, 6 assists, and 3 rebounds per game. Malcolm Brogdon on the Wizards should put up similar numbers, and he's also not getting drafted. The main question for him is health, but if he's healthy, he's definitely worth targeting. Of course, if he gets traded to a better team, his value may take a dip, but I would try drafting him and trading him if he gets off to a good start. The last team that I want to discuss is the Pistons. Cade Cunningham is getting drafted in round 3 or 4, which is where I think he should be going. However, he's improved every year he's been in the league, and I think he makes another incremental jump, so I'll be targeting him. For some reason, Monty Williams and Jaden Ivey did not fit with each other. Coach Fred Vinson, who works under JB Bickerstaff, has been working with Jaden on his jump shot. If there's any improvement, then Jaden Ivey could end up being one of the biggest steals. He's going in round 11 right now, and there's just way too much upside for me to pass. Well, I appreciate y'all watching. Let me know what you guys think of the guys I mentioned. I would love to hear what you guys think in the comment section below. Also, check out my last video I made on Keon Ellis. He's probably not going to be fantasy relevant, but I believe that every NBA team would love to have him in real life. Again, thanks for watching. Peace.